ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, January 4th. I'm glad to be here in this very room with you. I'm your host, Paul Swann, on ESPN 94.1 at AM 930. We'll get things started with our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Coming up this week, the Marshall women will be entertaining the homestanding fans. Tony Kemper, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team, joining us here in the next few minutes. We're going to talk to him, get caught up on everything going on with him. We've got basketball, of course, coming up this weekend as well at the Henderson Center, featuring both the men and the women. Double header, so if you haven't had a chance to head out and see the women play, you've got a couple opportunities this week to do so. Especially, you know what? It's a double header. It's a double header. Just go early. That's all I'm going to say. Just go early. I'm a big fan of Tony Kemper. If you don't know that by now, I'm a big fan of Tony Kemper. I just appreciate him as a person and as a coach. So I appreciate him doing the show today. We'll get him on here in the next few minutes. I think he's out on the road doing coaching things. I think that's where he's at. I'll have to ask him where he's at. He's not in Huntington, or I would try to get him in the studio. We, of course, be keeping an eye on what's happening with Damar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills safety that was injured in the Monday night game. He remains hospitalized in critical condition, but according to the team, the Bills, he has shown signs of improvement. He expected to remain under intensive care as his health care team continues to monitor and treat him. So that's good. I know critical condition is very, very important to make note of. Still in critical condition, but he is showing signs of improvement, so that is good. And I'll tell you right now, the more I learn about how the Bills and the Bengals, the leadership, the coaching staff, the players, how they handled the business at hand, the more I have the utmost respect for everyone involved. Yeah, I don't know much about how the league handled its business, but as far as the players, as far as the coaching staff, front office, everybody from the level that is the team. Sean McDermott handled his business exemplary. Zach Taylor, top-notch. Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, team captains handling their business, going into the Buffalo Bills locker room with the intent of, what's up, how are you feeling, how can we help? Not anything else other than, hey, we're here for you. What's going on? What can you tell us? What can we do? And I've been impressed with everything so far. And, of course, you expect that. This should not be the exception. I think it's going to be the norm. Something like this happens. So we'll keep an eye on this, of course. In the game against the Ravens, if you haven't seen the news yet, the Ravens game against the Bengals, that's going to be played on Sunday, and that's going to be a 1 o'clock game. We're going to have that for you here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 and on 93.7 The Dog, along with our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. So we've got that game for you. I don't know how the Bengals are going to come out, what their emotions will be, because obviously they care as much as the Buffalo Bills do about Damar Hamlin. It's an important game. I don't know how all this is going to work out. I don't know if I care, to be honest with you. The Bengals are in the playoffs. I know that. The Ravens are in the playoffs. I know that. The Bills are in the playoffs. I know that. The Chiefs are in the playoffs. I know that. I don't know how any of this is going to be handled. How much will the NFL lean on playing that game, and how much will they say, you know what, we'll figure it out? So that's beside the point, to be honest with you. If they play that game or not, I don't know if we play that game. I don't know if we play that game. How do you figure this out? I don't know. There has to be something in the guidelines. If not, there needs to be. I don't know how we would handle that. Through the COVID era, of football, which just a couple years ago, we figured it out. I think we'll be okay. If we don't get this game played, I think we'll be okay as collectively as human beings. I think we're going to be all fine. All we care about right now is Sean McDermott and what he was able to do for Damar Hamlin. That's what we care about. Him continuing to be a leader for his team. We care about Zach Taylor and what he's done for his team. That's what we care about. And everyone who has really stepped up when it came to taking care of Damar Hamlin. And this is something new for us in football. Then NASCAR might be a sport you want to lean on a little bit as far as direction, only because there are athletes who put themselves in machines and throw themselves at high speeds. So we have seen tragedy before on the motorsport side. We don't want to see that. IndyCar as well. We don't want to see that. We know it's a possibility. With football, it became real for us when a player has to have CPR in front of his teammates and fans. So it became real for us. With that said, we're going to move on to what's coming up this week. Big game for Marshall women's basketball. The Thundering Herd going to get after it. Sunbelt homestand with James Madison and Georgia Southern. Both are excellent teams. James Madison is 12-2, undefeated in Sunbelt play, 2-0. Georgia Southern, 9-2, 1-1 in Sunbelt play. James Madison, if you heard Coach Kemper yesterday talk about how that's the top team in the league right now in the net. They are playing well. They're both playing well. So we'll hear from Coach Kemper in a few minutes, talk to him. We will also get your text in, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's the number to be a part of the program. We will take your text throughout the day. Tomorrow, don't forget, we get the Board of Governors meeting. That's happening tomorrow. There's going to be a new baseball coach, if it's approved. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If it's approved, we're going to have a new baseball coach. That's going to happen with the public announcement on, well, I don't know if it's a public announcement, more of it's the introductory press conference. The introductory press conference. That'll be on Friday. I believe it's going to be at 4 o'clock. I will be either there or here. We will have something from it here no matter what that looks like on Friday. So we got you covered. So I know some of you would like to go and can't. We'll get you covered on that one. All right. When we continue, Tony Kemper, the head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team, he will step into the shoes of being he's sort of like, he's a revered guest. How's that? He's coming on next. We'll talk to him when we continue on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Wednesday, January 4th edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Coming up this weekend, a couple of opportunities for you to check out the women in conference play. JMU and Georgia Southern will be the opponents for Tony Kemper's squad. Marshall coming into the contest this week 2-0, perfect in Sunbelt play. I hope I don't jinx it. Tony Kemper, my guest, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. 2-0, you go on the road, so they don't just hand you those wins. You had to go win those games and earn it. You got to be feeling pretty good about your squad right now.
I mean, we're off to a good start, and you're right. We had to discover some new things about us to figure out a way to win. Really both nights down south. So at South Alabama, it was hard fought throughout, and then Rochelle Scott hit a big time fadeaway game winner with I think 1.8 left in the game, and then to go on the road the second time to Appy, and we just didn't have it early, and I think we were down by as much as 12, and really battled, and and we were really consistent defensively all day, and that gave us a chance to finally get hot and make enough shots to get run our record to 2-0 in league play. So it's it's always tough to start on the road, and basketball is difficult to win on the road, but when you can find a way to go 2-0 to start the year on the road, that's always good, especially when you look at the quality of opponents coming in here this Thursday and Saturday.
Yeah, good schedule. I'm curious, though, with that App game, longtime Herd fans had this rivalry thing with App State. Did that play out any? Was that anything for your squad, or is that something that's maybe still to come?
I think that we're learning that stuff, and I did a little spot with their ESPN Plus color person before the game, and just talking about the things that I'm excited about in the Sun Belt. But I think that's part of it is, we've got to hear some stories from guys like you that tell us about the App State rivalry, and we certainly talk about it, but we haven't lived it yet with these new teams. And in effect, App is a new team to us, and our, 20-year-olds. And so I think that those things will develop. I think regionally it always kind of happens that way, where that's the natural games that you kind of cling to. I think it happened with Western Kentucky in the old league, and I think Appalachian State will certainly kind of happen from a all sport perspective here at Marshall.
Well, you had another one of those, James Madison, then Georgia Southern. Let me tell you, if you think I don't like App State, let me tell you about Georgia Southern, Coach. But in all fairness, these are rivalries that could be in the making, but they're also two of the best basketball teams in Sun Belt play right now. And you mentioned yesterday about James Madison, how they're the top team in the net right now and how successful they've been. What's the challenge for your squad as you get ready for them? I'm sure you're not telling your team, hey, look, this is where they stand in the net. I don't think that means much to them. They want to know probably more about the opponent, the team on the floor, not they've won 9 in a row, they're high in the net, or does that matter to them?
Well, I think part of it in basketball, you do have to educate about, we got to teach our team that the net stuff is important. Because if you're, we sit at 9-4 right now. We got a lot of season left. We're obviously early in it, but if you want to play postseason play, you've got to find a way to win the right games. And if you don't get a lot of chances to play high net ranked teams, you got to do well when you play them. So we've talked about it all. We've talked about Kiki Jefferson, who's one of the best players, scorers in the league. She's a wing that James Madison has. We'll have to do a good job on her. We've talked about other personnel. We've talked through how they're going to, the things they're going to do to try to win and play their style. And then at the same time, our team was going to be excited to play at home for the home opener anyway, but we have tried to educate them on, where we sit, which we sit third in the net in the Sun Belt in women's basketball. So it's us, and then it's Troy, who was the preseason favorite to win. Sorry, it's James Madison, then Troy, and then Marshall. So it's a good game because James Madison's coming in, but it's also a good game because our teams position themselves well in those kind of metrics, both league standings and, other metrics.
Tony Kemper is with me, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. A big weekend of basketball coming up. Of course, it begins with James Madison, then Georgia Southern. The squad is 2-0 in the Sun Belt so far, as Coach just mentioned, 9-4. What's your evaluation of this league? Has it changed? Is it better than we thought? Is it right where we thought it was? I'm leaning towards better than what we thought. Yeah, you've seen a little bit more of the action now than most of us have. Where do you think this league stands? And of course, I'm sure you feel real good about where Marshall's at in it.
Yeah, no, I think that I think you're right to a large degree. I think it's I anticipated a good league. I think, and I've talked about what I thought was going to be the challenge is we haven't played a lot of these teams before. So, South Alabama, that's the first time we played them. I've been here for about a decade, And we've never played South Alabama, so you go into new venues and new towns and things like that. So that's probably the biggest learning thing. But I think the league is very much what I thought it would be, which we played against two really different style teams. South Alabama was kind of big; they played through the post, and then Appalachian State is very guard heavy. They play a lot of the games with 5 guards. So I think it's a league with 14 teams. You kind of run the gamut of how people try to win, and I think that's one of the best things about what I saw this past weekend is I think we played against two different style of teams, and we were able to adapt and figure out a way for Marshall to play well and have a good day. So, the league, we're going to continue to learn. I can tell you James Madison's one of the most talented, best groups in the league. You can see that by who they've beaten, how they're playing right now. The amount of people that can make shots and things when you watch them on field. And, actually the Georgia Southern game on Saturday, which that's a doubleheader with our men. We start at 1:30 and the men follow immediately. But Georgia Southern is the second best scoring team in the country in women's basketball. So they're two teams that kind of play different styles, but they both really present challenges. And I think the league is similar to that up and down.
Tony Kemper is with me, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. As you just mentioned, JMU coming in Thursday, and then Saturday a doubleheader with the men. Women start first, taking on Georgia Southern. Travel is something that we all loathed in Conference USA. It was just the way it was. The league was not the most travel friendly. I know it's early still. How has that gone for you? Did that help having a more travel friendly schedule? At least you go on the road, you're playing you're playing new teams, but still. How's it compare so far? I mean, was the road trip easier than in years past? You're just about the same?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we went to Mobile, Alabama, so that's not that easy to get to from here.
Sure it is, right? Come on.
Well, and what I was going to tell you was they, Marshall, and we're under, different leadership, and there's been investments in women's basketball that's made travel easier. So we chartered from Huntington to Mobile. And so that's pretty easy flight when you do it that way. And then we did the same thing up to App from Mobile. So we chartered from Appalachian to Mobile, or from Mobile up to Appalachian State, and then we bussed home from Appy. So the travel went really smooth. And in large part that is greater investment in women's basketball, and that's really appreciated from my end and our players too.
Tony Kemper, my guest, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. So you've got the home stage on Thursday and Saturday. And I'm telling everyone that just come early. If you're going for the men's game, come to the women's game first. Just make people who come into Huntington on the women's side terrified to come in because there'll be so many Herd fans screaming and hollering. Anything special going on, ticket promotions, anything like that maybe Herd fans need to know about?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's just two good teams, and we'd like to have you out to play. I think there is some kid stuff going on, and I should have that right on hand. But I think that there's some promotions for kids the Saturday game, the Saturday doubleheader. But you'll have to help me out, and you'll have to look for that online, and then
I can do that.
And then clean up my mess when this is done. You know what I'm saying?
I can do that. Not a problem.
Okay. But there's something about Saturday. It's some kind of kids game, and I can't remember. I think they get something for coming. So bring your family, bring a whole bunch, and you're right. Let's make it a tough environment for people to play in. For both men and women. I heard the men's crowds last week were great.
Yeah,
so
they look good.
We'd like to continue that on to our sport as well.
What about ice cream? Is they get ice cream for coming?
You might be onto something there. We could extend our Road Win ice cream to scoops for home wins. I don't know. We have a promotion this year that if we make 10 threes in a game at home, you take your ticket stub to Hillbilly Hot Dogs, you get a free hot dog.
Okay.
So we're doing some things. We have hit that. We hit it the first 3 home games. We hit 10 threes the first 3 home games, and I'm hoping that Thursday and Saturday we get back on the right side of that promotion.
All right, I've done your work for you, Coach. I mean, you focus on X's and O's, you focus on wins and losses. That's you. I'll handle this stuff. All right.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, on the promotion schedule, every game, if the herd hits 10 threes, you can take your ticket to Hillbilly Hot Dogs. Okay, so you got that covered. On January 5th, the promotion is come celebrate the first home Sunbelt women's basketball game. That's the promotion. Just come celebrate.
Okay.
The second one, though, a purchased men's ticket will allow entry to the women's game. That's pretty good. The June Harless Center with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library will be there with stations for kids 12 and under. Kids will also be given a free book while supplies last. So,
I like it.
I'm going to have to get out there early and get Bill Cornwell a free book. It's also a kids dunk contest at halftime.
Okay.
That's your
promotion.
Those
all sound like fun to me.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
So a kids dunking contest at halftime. Please tell me we're lowering the hoops or we're going to put something smaller down there.
Well, I would assume
I
it's
hope
going to be in some kind of fact. Maybe trampoline. Maybe we're going to bring a big trampoline.
Do you really want the insurance issue on that?
I'm not the insurance guy, Paul. You just told me all I have to worry about is X's and O's.
That's true.
You did not say insurance was not in my job description.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I'm just trying to solve problems, man.
All right, so that's on Spears. That's on Mr. Spears. He's the insurance.
That is on. Yeah, someone further downstream for sure.
Okay, that's not our issue. I'm just here to talk about it. You're here just to do it. That's it. That's our deal. You do the game. I talk about the game, and we hopefully get people to come out to the game.
Yep, that's all I want. That's all I want is come give us a shot. This group's fun to watch, and obviously they're playing well right now, and that's going to be challenged by a really good James Madison team. So I think it'll be a good weekend for basketball.
Hope so. It's going to be fun. We got the game on Thursday, then we got the game on Saturday. If fans haven't had a chance to come out, now's the time to do so. And Saturday, I just basically am putting it out there. If you're coming to the men's game, just go ahead and plan early. Go to the women's game, and let's scare Georgia Southern. I mean, really, let's terrify them. Like whoa, where'd all these people come from? And let's just make sure they remember that it's tough to come into Huntington.
Yeah, well, we're trying to build that, and we're trying to. This needs to be a tough place for teams to play. We got great fans, and I think we'll have great crowds both nights. So I appreciate you helping us try to build it.
No problem. Let's get some ice cream for everybody. You're not even in Huntington today. You're out. You're doing work today. You took the time off work to do this.
Well, I recruited last night, so I was on the road last night.
Okay.
I'm in Huntington. I'm at home tonight.
Okay, so yesterday
getting ready to do the basketball circuit, the little kids in my house basketball circuit. I pick one up, drop them off over there, grab another one, move them over this way. It's like a carousel at my house at night.
Don't you have assistant coaches for that at the house?
I am the assistant coach for that at the house. The head coach hands me the list of things to do, and because every once in a while I have to tell her I am out of town from Wednesday to Saturday, and so then she has to take over all the duties. So when I'm home, she makes me work.
Okay, assistant coach Tony Kemper joining us here.
That's exactly right. There's no question that that's true here at the house.
Good luck on Thursday and Saturday. It's going to be fun. Let's hope after it's all said and done, you're 4-0 in league play and more ice cream to be handed out.
That'd be great, man. I appreciate it, and we look forward to lacing up on Thursday.
Tony Kemper, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. We're going to take a quick time out, come back, and bring you more of this here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We take your phone calls. We do it with our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our number to be a part of today's edition. Keep that number handy. You're going to need it. We've got tomorrow basketball action. Thundering Herd on the road, then back for 3 home. And then after that, we're not going to have that much of a home court advantage for Thundering Herd basketball, as the Thundering Herd going to be on the road, it's going to feel like more than at home. But Marshall and Georgia Southern, that is coming up. We've got it for you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm not showing my age too much, but I was a student at Marshall when the Thundering Herd was in the Southern Conference. And then Marshall would eventually transition into the Mid-American Conference, but I was a student during those days of the Southern Conference. And I loved every minute of it. I loved the rivalries. I loved the Southern Conference basketball tournament. I loved seeing the Herd play in the playoffs when Marshall started to go on that run. I enjoyed every moment of it. The Marshall got into Conference USA, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be pretty cool, but Memphis left, and Cincinnati left, and Louisville left, and all the teams that made Conference USA really, you thought, a great league to be in. All of that just disappeared. It evaporated. And there's nothing wrong with schools like Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee. There's nothing wrong with those schools and other schools that were brought in. But it just wasn't the league I was hoping it would be. Marshall was joining a bigger league, and it kind of just evaporated. Now you're in the Sun Belt, and some of these programs are new to you, some of them not so new to you, but you've got Southern Miss, which, again, when Southern Miss is good, your conference is better. End of story. Southern Miss is good. If Southern Miss is good in football, your league is good. If Southern Miss is good in basketball, your league is good. That's how much respect I have for Southern Miss. I thought Southern Miss would turn the lights off in Conference USA. And then, of course, Old Dominion's on its way. And James Madison's an instant boost. And the Herd showing it's got some fight in football and showing it's got some fight in basketball. I think we're going to have a really tough time seeing separation from some of the top teams in the basketball side of things. I mean, we're only 2 games in, but Marshall right now could be 2-0 and play. And I think Marshall is still going to be one of the teams to contend with the top spot or among the top teams. We have so many. Honestly, I think it's a better basketball league than I was giving it credit for. I don't think Marshall's just going to go in and run this thing. At the same time, I think that's good. You want it to be competitive. You want it to be challenging. And I like the fact that Marshall played well, not well enough to win, but I don't think Marshall was the best version of Marshall against JMU. We didn't see the best version of JMU either, so hopefully the next time those two teams meet, we'll get the best version of both, and it's going to be a spectacular game no matter what. And, of course, ESPN's coming in for Marshall Southern Miss. That's going to be amazing. You get an ESPN2 game. It's going to be a nighttime game, 9 o'clock. If you're looking for college basketball, that's going to be one of the main games to be able to watch. If you want to watch a game, here it is. There are a lot of people who don't have a team. They just like watching games, and so there it is. A prime spot, Marshall basketball against Southern Miss. And it should be a great showcase for the league. I hope so anyway. We have got time for your text at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We continue on with this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
It's our final segment of today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I've got the text line open for you, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's the number to get your text in. Of course, we're going to ramp that up tomorrow as we got Marshall and Georgia Southern. And that's going to be a road game for the Thundering Herd. Looking forward to it. You can catch it right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And, of course, on 93.7 The Dog. So we're back to our normal schedule. We have one more bowl game, and that is the championship. That is coming up on Monday. So we're back to normal schedule finally. And then we go the rest of the way, mostly on Thursdays and Saturdays for basketball. We'll get the football schedule sorted out for the NFL as soon as everything's sorted out. But we're back pretty much to regular programming now finally. So we're getting back in shape. I will be here tomorrow. I will be here on Friday and with you during basketball. And then one final time, I will be out for a few days next week. And then after that, we'll be all the way into summer, hopefully, for the most part. Smooth sailing. Don't think I'm going anywhere fun. I'll be back in the garage on Monday. So don't think I'm going anywhere fun. I'll be in the garage, getting garage things done. Actually, I have more, and here's the thing. They're just small annoyances. They're not things that make me want to go buy a new car, but they're small annoyances, just enough where it's going to sting a little bit, but it's better than a car payment. You ever have that kind of day where it stings and you got to do it, and it's still better than a car payment, but it's not fun? That's me today. That is me today. So a little, thankfully Tony Kemper was scheduled already, so we had him in the hopper ready to go. I'm not the only one who has these kind of problems, right? Especially around the holidays. I'm not the only one, right? 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So don't forget the men coming up tomorrow. The women at the Henderson Center tomorrow. So the women have got JMU, the men at Georgia Southern, and then the women will take on Georgia Southern on Saturday. And then the men will follow with Coastal Carolina. So that's what we've got for the upcoming schedule. I know swimming and diving is in there somewhere. We actually have women's tennis coming up as well. We got to work some of that in there. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. We got tennis coming up. It's finally... I know we get track and field coming up, but we get tennis and swimming and diving coming up. So it's coming up faster than you think. So I guess we're going to have to get John Mercer back on the show sometime. But for the most part, it's going to be basketball and more basketball throughout the rest of the winter months as we get closer to spring. Thankfully, we have got baseball talk coming up. Tomorrow we'll have the results of the Board of Governors meeting. We know the deal. It'll be official. And then on Friday, there will be an introductory press conference for the new baseball coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd. So that'll be Friday at 4. Game tomorrow. Board of Governors meeting tomorrow. Friday at 4. Presser with the new head coach of the Marshall baseball team. And then 1 year of trying to do baseball without a brand new stadium and then a brand new stadium. That seems to be the timetable. So you got a year. Anything you do in this upcoming year, you get a pass on because you still don't have facilities, but you can recruit to those facilities now. And that's one thing I would do. I would absolutely, as structures are being built, as things are being laid out, I would say I would have constant photos. I'd have a time-lapse video camera somewhere to watch the progress of the construction. Like a 24/7 video stream, I would have that, or time-lapse photography, or both, just to watch that go up. I would do both. A frame every minute, a frame every 30 seconds, maybe a frame every 5 minutes, however is the best way to do that. I would set that up, and I would say to recruits, hey, check it out. Here's how it's coming. It's coming along. You could be there. That could be you. You could be right there. And I would do that constantly. I would not allow any team ever again to use facilities against the Thundering Herd. That would be my game plan. I don't know how recruiting is going to play out. I don't know if we're going to see a recruiting staff anywhere close to the machine that Coach Huff has built, but I would constantly, as I'm talking to players, I show them diagrams, I show them blueprints, I would show them progress at the construction site, even if it's bulldozers moving. Here, look, see the bulldozers are moving. That's where that's going to be third base right there. You see where the bulldozers at? Third base. I would have everything I possibly could and make sure that you are recruiting to a new facility and you can put that to good use. All of that material, I'm just giving it to you right now. Time-lapse photography, live streaming video, all of that. Invite kids in. Hey, where's the stadium going to be? Well, it's right here. You see this? See that bulldozer? It's going to be right here. And when you have that conversation as it's progressing, as it's being built, hey, where's the stadium? We'd like to see the stadium. Let's walk across the street. Let's go. Let's go see it. Point it out. That's how I recruit. Like, hey, here's the Buck Harless. Yeah, we care about your academics. We got this facility here. Look at sports medicine, all of that. Hey, let's take a walk across the street. You see, this is going to be the baseball park right here. You see that's going to be the brand new park. Here's the bison statues. Here's the Hall of Fame. You could be in this Hall of Fame. Yeah, walk right past sports medicine because we're looking to take care of you. Here's softball. And if I'm recruiting the softball, I'm like, okay, here's sports medicine, Hall of Fame. You could be you in here. Hey, let's walk across the street. Okay, here's our facility. Hey, you see this baseball park? They're sharing facilities with us, so we're going to get all these new things as well. That's how I would recruit. I would oversell it. I would be a car salesman. Yeah, look, it smells new, doesn't it? That's new smell. I'd find any way and every way to, you don't want to go there. No. Look at what we're going to have here. You don't want to go there. What do they have that we won't? Totally would never allow facilities to be an issue again in baseball recruiting. Never. If a kid doesn't want to come and play for Marshall baseball, it won't be because of facilities. That, my friends, is where I would attack this thing completely, because you got to put together a team, because we're not building a new baseball stadium for a mediocre record. By the way, not building this and going to be cool with a subpar mediocre record. Not happening. Because once this thing gets built, there's going to be expectations. Okay, we have built this first-rate baseball facility. Now we need a first-rate team in here. You think that with the building of the soccer complex, that the expectation was, we're going to be okay. We're going to be all right. We'll be competitive. No, that was not the expectation. All right, that's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'll be back with you tomorrow. We got basketball coming up. Marshall taking on Georgia Southern. I'm looking forward to that. And we will take your phone calls and text after. Hopefully it's going to be about a Marshall victory when we're all said and done. Marshall taking on Georgia Southern. We've got it for you here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Until then, have a great night.